Hello, 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 beautiful, bright souls. Happy Saturday. It's a Saturday today. I had to check. Just had to check. Happy Saturday, everyone. I'm coming live to you today on the 30th of January, 2021, because Mercury's just gone into retrograde. Woo! There's a car or a motorcycle like backfiring outside and making a lot of noise just as I said that. So synchronicities or what? Anyway, hello to everyone that is watching this live, watching the replay. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So Mercury's in retrograde, right? What does that even mean? I thought I would just share a little bit about how this impacts us, what this means. It's kind of one of those things like a full moon. When people always use the full moon as kind of an excuse, Mercury retrograde gets the same rap, and I'm like, come on guys, actually it's a good thing. It's a good thing, and let me tell you why. Hello, hello, beautiful souls joining. Hello, and my love to you all. So, Mercury, the planet of communication, right? Planet of communication, technology as well, right? So, when a planet it's either going usually direct or retrograde. Direct means that it appears to be going forwards to us from the planet Earth. Retrograde means that it appears to be going backwards from our perspective on the planet Earth, right? So right now it's just gone into retrograde, so it appears to be going backwards, right? What that means on a spiritual level, on a emotional, energetical level, it means that it's an introspective time, right? And whatever planet we talk about when we say something goes retrograde, and whatever planet we talk about kind of represents different things and pulls on different energies within us. So Mercury is pulling on that communication, right? So it's in retrograde until the 21st of February. Okay, so a good 3 weeks. And in this space of time, there is the chance that we might speak before we think. There is the chance that we may put our foot in our mouth, right? If you have that phrase everywhere, I hope you do. If you don't, it kind of means say something that you didn't mean to say, or say something that you didn't think through, right? Mercury retrograde is not a bad thing. It's a really good thing because it gives you an opportunity to slow down. It gives us opportunity to slow down, to reflect, to go inwards a little bit more. And what will get drawn forth from you is anything that's out of alignment as well. That's what the planets and the moon and the sun, that's what all that does, right? That's how it all affects us. We are all made up of stars, right? We are made up of the star system. We are. It's in our body because we're made up of the earth, right? So everything does have impact, right? So a couple of things. Oh, bless. Oh, darling Lana. No, you never put your foot in your mouth. You are good. Seriously, you say the most beautiful things. You're amazing. Mwah, I love you. But just to help people out a little bit here, in the next 3 weeks, if you are someone who is usually a million miles an hour, if you are finding that relationships, conversations are starting to get a little bit volatile, then especially you need to slow down. You'll get encouraged to anyway. And when we get encouraged to slow down and we don't, what usually happens is it's like you're driving a car and you know that there's a bend coming up and you need to slow down for that bend, but you don't, and then you're breakneck speed bending, going around the curve. That's what it's like, right? So retrograde will encourage you to slow down, and if you don't, then you end up going around those bends at breakneck speed, right? Which then, you hit your head and it's all like, uh-oh, So we don't need to go through that, right? We can just slow down. Take a little bit of extra time. Come off social media if you are spending a lot of time on there. Obviously, if you run a business, if you are tuning into high frequency, high vibrational people, stay tuning into those. But what is going to happen is for the majority of people who are unaware, who aren't checking themselves, right? Who aren't who the world is happening to them. Those types of people are going to be feeling this retrograde, and they won't understand why, and they will just feel like it could feel like things are out to get them, right? That's not what's going to happen. But you may see that on social media. You don't need to see that. You don't need to see that energy. You don't need to take it on board, right? So anything to do with communication, think before we speak. We really want to do that, right? Especially if you're doing like a live video. I oftentimes, I usually do not ever plan any video that I do. I just kind of let whatever come through. But on a retrograde even, I take a little extra moment before I go live, just in case, and just to make sure that, you know, what I say will be well received, right? And it's, you know, not too much overboard or anything like that, which it could be. If anyone knows me, it could very well be overboard. But contracts, right, things like that, you know, not usually the best thing to kind of rush into. It's not to say if you have to sign a contract, if something's happening in this space of time, not to sign it. It's just to say take more time just to mull it over. Give it an extra day or two, you know. You don't have to, there's no rush to do anything. There really isn't. Time's something we created, so there really isn't any rush to do anything, right? We can unbind ourselves from that paradigm if we wish to. Oh, bless poor Safi. Safi says she's been eating so much chocolate. Well, you know, chocolate, the raw chocolate anyway. So not chocolate from a chocolate bar, but, I mean, it does, but it doesn't. Let me finish what I'm saying. This is how words can kind of get mixed up in a retrograde. Raw chocolate is heart medicine. The natives, the ancients, they would work with cacao, with ceremonial grade cacao, to open your heart space, to connect you with the Mother Earth, right? And to allow healing to occur in the heart space. So that's why nowadays, you know, we kind of go for that bar of Galaxy or a bar of Cadbury's or whatever, and bar of chocolate, because, you know, we might be feeling a little bit out of sorts, or we might just have that craving. And realistically, our body actually really knows that, because there is cacao in that chocolate, and the, you know, along with other things like sugar, but, you know, that cacao is very much a heart opener. So it is usually very much a go-to for the whole world. It really, really is. So don't worry if you're feeling the need to eat chocolate. It's very normal. It is very, very normal. Okay. And bless, sis just said, no idea that Mercury was in retrograde. Yes, it's just gone into retrograde today, but retrogrades have a shadow week as well, before and after. And personally, I find the shadow week a little bit more, it knocks me a little bit more off kilter when there is a shadow week, because I'm like, oh, okay, I'm sure there is a retrograde happening soon in this particular planet because of this, this, and this. And then when I check the charts and I'm like, oh yeah, actually Mercury's just gone into retrograde. No wonder a week ago I was feeling this and this was going on, right? So there is that shadow aspect of a retrograde either side. But just to kind of wind it back into the point in hand and what I was trying to convey here, you know, retrogrades are good because it gives us the opportunity to slow down. It allows us to go within ourselves a little bit more. We're pairing right now with a waning moon, right? We've just had a full moon. It is now waning, right? It's going to be waning for another 2 weeks, right? So that's also, you've got double introspective energy coming in at you, and that's a really good thing, right? February in general is going to have 6 planets in the sign of Aquarius, plus, you know, whenever the moon goes through that sign, plus the sun, you know, and plus Pallas Athena, one of the comets. There's a lot of Aquarian energy coming through in February. So it's gonna be a very, very powerful month, right? With Mercury being in retrograde in Aquarius as well. You know, Aquarius is that quirky free thinker, a humanitarian as well, right? So a couple of things to kind of draw on is, you know, we want to be listening more than we're speaking in conversations, right? And listen in a way that we actually hear what is being said before we formulate an answer. How many times, and I know I used to do this all the time, and I'm hopefully getting a little bit better at it, where someone would start to say something and I'd be like, I already have my answer before I even heard them, right? This is going to be a really good time for us to kind of hone in on that listening, right? That hearing, that real hearing, heart to heart. Once again, we've spoken about contracts and things like that. Give it extra space, extra time. Allow the creativity to run through you. The womb space, the sacral chakra is having a massive rewrite right now. So there are many people physically experiencing imbalances, right? And if you're one of them, if you're feeling either pain in your spine and your sacral and your lower back, UTI, you know, your moon cycle is off, your period cycle is off, you know, that's because your sacral chakra is having a massive rewrite right now, right? There's a lot of clearing, a lot of purging happening. But what's really fun is that with Aquarius being the house that the Mercury retrograde is sitting in, you know, it gives us that space with that air energy, right, to get creative and inspirational, right, you know, to think outside the box, right? And the more time we allow ourselves to go within ourselves, right, the better chance we have of coming through this retrograde and actually having created a lot of stuff, right, you know, actually forwarding ourselves, especially between the space of the full moon that's just happened and the new moon in 2 weeks' time, you know. What else can I say about this? What else? Oh, Steph, thank you so much. I love doing them as well. So I do love doing these lives. I especially love seeing who is live with me. And yeah, if you have any questions, let me know. If I have an answer, I'll answer you. If I don't, I won't. Or I'll tell you how I can find out, or how you can find out. That's another thing as well, right, with a retrograde, because it is about communication, this Mercury. And there's other things as well, but generally speaking, it's known for communication. You know, what was I going to say? Oh, just lost my train of thought. That's another thing. Yeah. That's what I was going to say. You know, if you don't know the answer to something, now is not the time for you to start spouting off like you do, right? You know, if you don't know something, say you don't know it, because in a retrograde as well, you've got that energy of the retrograde that will kind of, it'll kind of bite you in the bottom a little bit, right? If we think we know something and we don't, right? Oh, Vivian is here. Hello, and so is Gemma. Hearts to you, Gemma. Hearts to you. But anyway, you guys, I thought I'd just share a little bit of what I think I know with you, a little bit of what I found helpful and useful. We're in a retrograde. All is well. All is so well. Don't worry, just slow down. Don't take the corner at a breakneck speed, right? Slow down before the corner, and then when the corner arrives, you can see it, and you're like, oh, okay. You know, that's my analogy. That's my analogy. Some exes might come back into touch. Just remember how you feel about that in advance, should that happen to you. And know your boundaries and know your sovereignty. Yeah, you know what? Retrogrades are the best opportunities ever. There's Gemma. That's a really good comment. So Gemma has just said, everyone, that, you know, she's only ever heard negative things about retrogrades, and that's so not fair. It's like saying the full moon isn't a good thing because it brings all the, you know, everyone gets a bit loony, right? Which obviously is named after the moon. That's so not fair. That's us giving away our power. Oh my gosh, that is us being such a victim, right? Whenever someone says something is negative, no, bring that power back into you. You know, don't be a victim to circumstance and to life and to being alive here, right? Why would we do that? You know, we stop ourselves creating and manifesting our desires when we do that. So yeah, retrogrades happen, and they happen frequently with many different planets, with all the planets, right? And they are all good because the retrogrades give us chance to go inwards. And the thing is our life is spent so much focused outwards because our eyes that we focus our sight out of point that way. They don't go that way, right? The ears point that way, right? The mouth goes that way, you know. So it's really good to have that time to go within. It really, really is, because if we don't do that, then we just go full pelt ahead, right? And we then miss our turn. Okay. Exactly, Vivian just said we only learn when we're uncomfortable or even in mistakes. Exactly, and that's a human thing as well. You know, the humans, we kind of want to make the mistake to have that contrast, because it's through that contrast that we get the clarity, right? And then with the clarity that we get, we then know more precisely what it is that we want and desire, and then we take more aligned action, right? So it's all part and parcel. It's all part of the bigger picture, and retrogrades are really good for you actually seeing that bigger picture, should you align with the energy that it is wanting to draw from you, and that is to slow down, go within, okay? And give your technology a little bit of grace as well. I'm just going to say that with a cheeky little smile, because technology gets influenced with the words. Technology gets influenced with the effect of retrograde as well. So if your lives are stuttering, if your internet is losing connection, if you're trying to place an order somewhere and it's just not going through, just give it a sec. The technology needs that time as well to go inwards, ironically. So give it a sec, send it love, You can even ask Archangel Michael and his dragons to come and clear any lower energy around your technology. But just because I know for anyone that runs a business and has a month end to work with, the computers and technology gets a little bit jammed right near the end of a month, and especially in a retrograde we can get frustrated. We don't need to do that. We just need to give it space, get whatever we need to get done for our business in earlier in the day, and if not, then just have that open heart and the patience to give the technology time to go inwards as well. And we want to do that with our loved ones in conversations. So Vivian, absolutely, it's all about awareness. It's all about awareness, absolutely. Okay, I hope this has been helpful. If it has, do feel free to tag and share to any friends that may benefit as well. I'll get this uploaded onto YouTube as soon as I can, and yeah, if you're new to my channel, welcome. It's been an honor being here with you. Let me know if you've got any questions, and I can come live and do another short video sometime, and I will see you all so soon. And for anyone that is looking to work one-to-one for any healings or angelic guidance, there are spaces next week, so feel free to send me a message if you feel inclined. Right? My love to you all. Bye for now.